Everyone has an opinion. Some just express theirs differently than others. You'll find plenty of opinion on Sunday Night Talk Radio with Jeremy Scott, creator of Lifestyle Web Radio. Call 818-287-7200. That's 818-287-7200. Nothing's off limits where opinion rules. Sunday Night Talk Radio on Lifestyle Web Radio.
Oh boy, is nothing off limits. Tonight especially, welcome in. I'm Jeremy Scott. It's Sunday Night Talk Radio. 818-287-7200 is our call-in number, per usual. That's 818-287-7200. TALK, talk at lifestylewebradio.net, the email address if you want to send an email in. I suppose that we might get a few folks riled up, I should say, for this evening's show. And it's not by purpose, it just happens to be the subject material that we are going to be talking about tonight. If you're at lifestylewebradio.net, towards the top of the page will be information that scrolls by you on this evening's show, Sunday Night Talk Radio. And you'll find some information that might disturb you. You'll find a link to a website, which when you go there, might cause you to get a little bit angry. And the creator of that website is going to be on here the show tonight. A little bit of background. Me and this gentleman go back over a decade. While I'm successful in what I happen to do, this person has been successful in what they happen to do, which is pumping results to the internet. Pumping listeners to the internet websites that they create. And one of those, probably disturbing to many people. That's coming up. It's stdcarriers.com. And the link is up at lifestylewebradio.net. This might be absolutely vulgar and disgusting, and some people could probably and might send me hate mail regarding this evening's show. But the fact of the matter is, sometimes topics need to be discussed. And one of those topics is the one that I'll be talking about this evening. It's not just one topic, but it's a series of topics with a theme. And the theme on the show tonight happens to be money versus morals. If you believe in what you believe in, will you sell out? Is enough money, is any amount of money enough to cause you to deter? And I think for a lot of people in today's society, the answer to that question is yes. They would throw their morals out the window for a bag of cash. So all the stories that I'm going to tell you here tonight, that we're going to wrap them into a bow, as we usually try to do here on Sunday night, and make some particular point. And it's not just the idea of this website. This website isn't new. This website has been around for years. The person who created it, I met back in school. Some could crack the jokes and say, well, I'm sure that all the teachers and professors along the way have something to be proud about. The fact of the matter is, if you're able to create a website and you're able to be successful at that website, I understand the point that morals come into it. So I will take a side on money versus morals at the end of the show, because there are so many different examples that I'm going to outline for you here tonight on how, for some, morals don't mean squat. We'll get to Sunday evening news as well. We will talk about the retaliation after the turncoat that killed Afghan civilians. And that's just tipping the brim of what we'll get into. If you're anywhere at lifestylewebradio.net, wait for it to scroll through the information on our show for this evening, March the 18th. Is it right to publish information about someone's STD status? We're talking sexually transmitted disease. Whether you know it to be true or not. Is it legal? The man behind that website will be here. We're going to have a bit of a debate. Also, should employers be able to fire workers who use birth control? Should employers be able to fire workers who use birth control? And we'll have a shocking statistic regarding pregnancies. Can you see the direction of where this show might be going? Down south, right? We'll get to Sunday evening news, and we'll also talk about the aftermath of the here on Sunday Night Talk Radio. Is it right to publish information about someone's STD status, whether you know it to be true or not? And the question is it legal? I want to welcome a man right now here to Sunday Night Talk Radio who, in honor of full disclosure, I must say that I've known this person for over a decade because we happen to go to school together, and we have, kind of lost, touch, over the years. Happened to talk via email a couple of years ago. So I know a little bit about his history, and I know that he's a genius when it comes to populating websites and getting fans to go there and people to go there. In fact, is very timely about getting information up there that will get people to react. And so I give him kudos for that. And so with all disclosure, I know this man as Cyrus. He's the man behind a website that I want you to pull up now and view as we talk tonight. That's stdcarriers.com. Good evening, Cyrus.
Good evening.
So tell us about yourself. You are a man who is about my age, which I've given before, so we're talking, just under 30 years old, upper 20s, and you're a college graduate, is that correct?
Yeah, finished school almost 4 years ago now.
And when did you develop your skills to be able to design websites?
Mostly on my own. If you saw the site when it first came out, it was a huge mess. It looked awful. It was just based on some basic skills I learned my senior year down at Oregon when I took an e-commerce course. And since then I just built it mainly just because people kept criticizing my design for being horrible. So I wanted to get them to at least shut up, or at least not have as much stuff they could say to me about how horrible it used to look.
Is the site making money?
Yeah.
So it's successful, yeah. and you have other websites besides this one, and
oh yeah.
So for people to say that you have some sort of vendetta against the people that are up on this website, you could point them to other websites. What you have. Tell us about some of the other websites that you have, so people can base what kind of discrimination they may have.
Oh, I have a immigration website called the Illegal Alien Report. That's just like STD carriers, but for posting illegal aliens and businesses that hire them. And I had Terry Moulton Horman, but that thing's kind of shut down and had its features moved. And I also have Cyberbullying Report, where if you feel like anyone's harassing you on my sites or somewhere else on the internet, you can post their picture and their information. And I have a few others, but the main one I'm going to be focusing on developing here in the near future month or two is called No Limit List, which is going to be a Craigslist alternative. It's live now, but it's not in very good shape. But the database is pretty much done. And that's just kind of a thing where I kind of took rant and rave and made it a parent category, and it's just got a whole bunch of subcategories where people can pretty much say whatever they want about anything.
Now, the premise behind this website Tell us how it began and what it is and what the purpose of this website is.
Well, it began because, it began because I guess I didn't like the idea of not having any recourse when this girl I was seeing told me she had herpes and knew before I met her, and I ended up testing positive with it, and that really sucked. And I started looking around for like various, what type of complaint sites there were for STDs, or even if there were just like maybe just like anonymous reporting stuff, and whether it was public, probably being posted or not. And I didn't really find much. And I noticed that it can be a pretty popular topic for some things, like consumer complaints and that kind of thing. And talked to an attorney, said it was legal, and then I just went with it.
So information is posted on this website that is designed for other people to come on and check and make sure that whoever they're about ready to have some sort of intimate relationship with has all their ducks in a row, so to speak.
Yeah, pretty much.
A lot of people don't like the idea. Why don't they like it, Cyrus?
Well, they don't like it because for one thing, people have abused it quite a bit, and they're really not liking it now because it's very search engine friendly, and that's something I've been getting a lot of heat for lately. People tend to think that it's not fair if somebody looks for them on Google and then finds out that it says they have an STD, and honestly I don't know if they do or not. But the main reason I keep it going isn't because it's not a terribly popular site, but there are lots of sites where you can do this. And I got a lot of crap from Anderson Cooper the other day about this. He feels it's a cop-out if you say, well, other people are doing the same thing. But the problem is the other people are doing the same thing, but they're doing it worse. So I also kind of feel like I'm providing an alternative. It's preferable to places where you can post the exact same accusations that aren't just built specifically for STDs.
You mentioned that, and by the way, this is Sunday Night Talk Radio, and you can call in, folks. It's 30 minutes past the hour, 818-287-7200. That's 818-287-7200. Head of STDcarriers.com is on the show right now. You mentioned, though, that you don't know whether or not these people have an STD. So doesn't that, a little bit in the back of your mind, cause you to doubt some of the information that is on your own website?
Absolutely. And that's something that it's a level of doubt that everyone should have for information on my site and everything they read on the internet. When you read something on, people give far too much credit to what they're reading online these days, and they really need to stop doing that, because if they stop doing that, people who abuse sites like mine would not have as much power over their victims as they do.
But if people also did that, then your websites wouldn't be nearly as successful as they are.
See, that's really the sad thing about that. It's like either you educate people on how to get to the point where they hardly believe anything they read, or you don't do that and they freak out and they go there, and next thing you know, you're sitting on Anderson's couch getting insulted and all kinds of stuff.
How did that come to be? I guess you were contacted by the show because of the fact that these two women who were on the show, they wanted some sort of recourse against you. Is that correct?
Well, I was contacted by the show after the Village Voice did a little article about my website, and then I think Jezebel did a second piece. They did one last year too. And I don't think the real reason they wanted to grill me is because I was bragging on the Village Voice comment board about how I'd gotten 2 sites on CNN within 1 month of launch in less than 2 years. And I kept thinking, I didn't even know Anderson had a daytime talk show. I thought it must have been for keeping them honest. It was ridiculous. And it turned out to be a little bit of both, but longer and during the day.
And so, what did you think when you got out there? I mean, what did you expect to happen? Was it kind of as you expected? what went down?
Well, it wasn't what I expected. I expected Anderson to be more fair and balanced. But what really bothered me, though, is...
Well, he doesn't work for Fox. He works for CNN. I mean...
Right. Well, he kept... What really bothered me is he kept accusing me of posting stuff on my site that I didn't post. Like pictures of people that other people posted. And he seemed very close-minded as to the... analyzing other parts of the industry in comparison to my site, because he would just try to steer the conversation away and say, no, it's not about the industry, it's not about other sites that are doing the same thing, it's just about you and why you're doing this. And to me, that was very narrow. But also I can understand that Anderson, he really needed to make sure that I didn't try to push those ladies around too. I can't say enough about those women. That takes a lot of guts to go out there and do that. And one of them was very right. And I had a policy where I never thought about what would happen if somebody put a picture where their kid happened to be in it. And eventually I ended up saying, well, I'm going to change my policy. I'm going to delete that photo. And I deleted the photo, although I'm sure she was mad as hell when she found this out, but it turns out that the author had actually removed her report from the site before she even went on the show, and she didn't know about it.
So you were threatened with some legal action. Now you told us you got some legal advice before you ever went through this website. Are you concerned at some point that you could end up in some hot water?
Well, of course, but you have to understand that anyone can get sued. People always wonder, can I get sued? And the answer is yes. But the thing is, that's the answer for everyone that does anything. I saw a lawsuit this last year where some nut in Florida sued Julian Assange for something like $150 million. And the reason I say dollars with an O is because he put two O's into it where there should have been an A. And there's a ridiculous claim that somehow he is publishing the WikiLeaks the documents from the Pentagon, Afghan war diary, that thing, that would somehow hurt the United States government and cause his Medicare benefits to go away because the government is running out of money. So anyone can be sued for anything. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so you obviously removed the woman's picture, and I'm looking at the site right now, and it's kind of a scrolling collage. Looks like you only got a few pictures that are cycling through, because I'm seeing the same pictures go over and over and over again. Oh,
that's on the homepage. The homepage just has a slideshow for like the 10 most recent editions, and then if you click on the registry thing, it's got a search feature.
So how does this information come to be, and isn't there should there be a verification process on your part? And it's called Disease Control and Prevention Services. What kind of control and prevention is there on your part to protect innocent people from their information up there?
Well, that's as far as that goes. I mean, there's not much I could do, even if I did have a screening process when it comes to complete strangers. I don't think anything. I don't know anything about these people other than somebody said something about them, and it's just I guess it's a case where I'm. The only way that there could ever be a screening process for that kind of a registry that was foolproof, or even could try to be foolproof, would be if it were based on verified medical documents. But the problem with that is, there is a problem with that at the moment. But the problem with that is those things are usually protected unless somebody decides to disclose them somehow. So it really is a case where you have to just look at what you read, and you have to evaluate it properly. And if you're not sure about somebody, just have a conversation with them. Be like, yeah, someone said this about you the other day. I don't know if it's true. What do you think about that? And that's really the appropriate reaction to have when looking up information on a site like this.
Well, how does this information come to be? Do people go to your website and fill out a form and basically make a claim of some person? Or is this information previously posted information within the World Wide Web that you then basically are referring to?
It's a little of both. I myself have done research that's based on information published elsewhere on the World Wide Web that I'm referring to. I was doing a criminal HIV transmission arrests research study that had like 100 names on it a couple of years ago. And that was all just media research. I would just periodically Google HIV arrests for like the past month, and I'd always find something new. And then there's celebrities. There's about like 90 plus on that list that are all based on reports elsewhere on the internet. And some people who have been posting on my site have been using other sources on the web as their source as well. But the majority are people who sign up anonymously, fill out a form, and post it themselves.
You mentioned earlier in the show that this site made money. If this site didn't make money, and you were sitting there basically spinning your wheels, wasting time, finding out it was more hassle than it was worth to keep this website going, would you keep it going?
Well, in this strange twist of irony, I mean, even it's not a cash cow. Yeah, it's profitable, but it's not like I'm sitting in a mansion someplace. In a lot of ways, I would have to keep it going, because what ended up happening with me is that right after around the end of the first fiscal year, I decided it was pretty much tanked. It was a bad idea. It had product. I was looking at the 4 P's of marketing: your product, your price, your place, and your promotion. I had plenty of promotion. The price was free, so that wasn't a problem. The place, I mean, it's very accessible on the internet. So my conclusion was that the problem must have been the product. But in a strange twist, I had applied some skills I learned from both my own research and principles I learned in college to SEO the site, and that's search engine optimization. And even though I didn't do a perfect job, I did a good enough job where I actually was able to turn it into a real job doing search engine work for other people. So as far as that goes, I'm kind of like, even if I decided I wanted to close it down tomorrow, I'd be like, well, how am I going to convince people to let me boost their traffic numbers? Because this is probably, out of all my sites, even though I've tried to build new ones, based on other things that aren't nearly as offensive, I still have to resort back to this thing as the one where I get all the good organic search traffic for the most part. So that's kind of a strange thing where I'm kind of like, well, I can't get rid of it because it's the best thing on my resume as far as that line of work goes.
Okay, so it makes money, but you would still do it even if it didn't make money because it is successful and it may lead you to future success. And I think that could be understood by a lot of people listening to this show. It's the entrepreneurial spirit. However, I have a report here that says that there was some sort of incident that happened regarding a false report that was circulated around your college campus that pinpointed you as the person who sent this around, and the information happened to be false. Is that true?
I think what you're referring to is a prank that I pulled. Not in my college. It was a college that I'd been at before. It was an inappropriate response to cyberbullying, is what it was.
Was it at a frat house? Your frat house?
Yes. What happened was I kind of got kicked out, and I kept getting all these harassing text messages from this one guy, and I was like, dude, come on. He was like, well, he was just like big. He said, he was like, you're an idiot. Come up with something original, why don't you? So I started like looking into. I got this idea. Why don't I create like a fake wanted poster and like send it to members of the House or something like that? And I was like, well, that might work. And I was looking through I was on Google, and I found this Microsoft Word document that was like a sex offender notice from Alabama. And I just tweaked it around to look like it was from Oregon. And originally I was just going to send it to members of the fraternity as part of this joke. But I sent a copy to my big bro, and he was like, dude, you should totally send that to the sororities. It would be hilarious. And being gullible as I was, I kind of went along with it. And but before I sent it, I put a copyright line on there that had my fraternity nickname, the year, and the Greek letters. So I thought it would be really easy for people to tell that it wasn't real. And I guess not everybody saw that. Mine just, I thought it was pretty obvious with the fraternity composite soda.
So does that hold any water here to your website? I mean, basically you circulated some fake information around campus, and that may have now been transposed now into this website. Is it kind of a trend that that we've seen in Cyrus's life continue here, play out on the website?
I don't know. I guess whenever I don't know, I wasn't trying to make people literally believe that. But I guess maybe there is a little bit of a trend in where sometimes when I get into a little fight with somebody, sometimes I might write something that isn't intended to be true, and then sometimes people have thought it was. Or even though I've been like, this guy could possibly have, done whatever if you were doing whatever. I usually don't. I don't know. So sometimes people will correct down on me for using too many words that are like may have, could have done this, and if he was doing this, this could have been a problem, but never actually saying that somebody actually did something.
Well, I've really been enlightened by having you here on the show here tonight, and I always give my guests a chance at the end of the show to tell us where we can find out more information. So it's a shameless plug time, Cyrus.
You can find more information at stdcarriers.com and NoLimitless.com.
So what's this new website? Is it you said it's like a Craigslist kind of deal?
Yeah, it's an idea I came up with a while ago, actually, but I've been busy doing other things and prototyping. So what it is the idea is basically just to build something like Craigslist that's better and that can be eventually expanded to be more like a social network. Right now it's got a lot of different classified advertising categories. Not a whole lot of use, but the adult section is operational. So that's
so people can let me get this right. People can go onto this new website and they can look for sex, and then they can go on to stdcarriers.com and make sure that the person who they're going to have sex with is clean.
If people start using that to look for sex, that would be the case. Yeah.
That's genius. That's absolutely genius, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the show.
It doesn't have a whole lot of users at the moment, I suppose. I think the only erotic service it does right now is like a joke test that I put out there.
Well, give it time. I'm sure.
It's not even finished. Yeah, it's just like the database isn't done, and the formatting needs to be significantly improved.
Sunday Night Talk Radio, that's what we bring you. STDcarriers.com. Cyrus, thanks for the time this evening.
Thank you.
And that's what it's all about here. And the question is, money versus morals. And I asked him that question. If the website was not making money, we understand it's not a cash cow, but if the website wasn't making any money whatsoever, and it became a nuisance to maintain it, would it still exist? And the answer to that question, as we heard, was yes. I believe he does have a little bit of a vendetta out there. That the woman who he had an unfortunate circumstance with at college, sparked him to do that website. And he told us that it did. But I think that he should. There should be a little bit more responsibility on the part of a webmaster to take content for what is on their site. If you go to my website, lifestylewebradio.net, there is not a single thing on that website that is not personally owned by me or is a free thing that doesn't have to be owned to be used free on the internet. Apps, widgets, whatnot. I have the ability to go in and edit everything that you see. And that's the way I want it. Sometimes a perfectionist in that sense. But I wouldn't allow anybody to go onto my website and be able to post information that turned out to be false, that I didn't verify, and that I could be okay with that. But you got to give kudos to a man who's able to populate users to his website, and that's what he does. He's at internet marketing success. That's the moral.